Hi, this is David from Audit. I just want to talk about cashier reconciliation forms. One of the most commonly marked down questions on the audit is to do with the cash recs and whether we're filling them out correctly. It's very important to fill them out correctly because it's the first place that anyone would spot whether we've made a posting error on Opera. So let's have a look at the cash rec. I've got one here, very simple one with very little movement that I can demonstrate what goes wrong. Right. On the audit finance sheet for that particular day, 29th of October, we've got a £100 variance. And the manager's very helpfully put in what's happened. It's £100 paid to prepay instead of to credit card. So we've got a misposting, it's gone to prepay. The most common error. Okay, and if this is correctly declared, which I know it is because we've checked, but we'll go through that, I've got no movement on credit cards on Opera, and I've got £100 worth of payments going through the PDQ machine, which gives us the £100 surplus on PDQ. Okay, but we've just seen on the cash rec for that particular day, I don't have a variance in this sheet. This line is telling us the expected credit cards from Opera, so that's saying we expect £100, and this is the total of the PDQ payments. Will they balance? So presumably this has been filled out wrong. So it's on the 3 to 11 shift. Let's have a look. Now, when the team members come to cash up, we put £100 worth of PDQ slips correctly in here because we know we've had them paid. We've emptied the pod, put £100 in there. But we've got £100 in this box. This says total credit cards from Opera. Now we've seen from before that there wasn't £100 worth of credit card movements on Opera. So where have we got this figure from? The chances are we haven't checked from Opera to see what Opera wants as credit card payments. We've just presumed I've got £100 worth of PDQ slips, I'll put £100 in here. Well, that's not a reconciliation because we're not using the correct figures. This is just duplicating the expected takings. So it's not telling us that there's a mistake. We've missed this. Manager comes in the next day and finds that the cash rec doesn't agree with what they have put in on the audit finance sheet. So we need to know where we're getting these correct figures from. So where do we get that from? Well, at the end of the shift, I could be taking that from a couple of places. An easy one to take it from, on Opera itself, is this function here, the cashier shift close. At the end of my shift, I come on to cashiering, and press cashier shift functions, and it gives me this option. I can't take it any further here, obviously, because it's historical. I can't open this. But I would press that at the end of my shift, and it would give me the breakdown of how much I've posted to cash, credit cards, and prepay. And I could take those figures, put them onto the cash rec form. That's where I put my cash expected from Opera, and that's where I put my credit cards expected from Opera. Now that's okay if it's just me using the reception desk. Nobody else has used that, so well, fair enough, I can take it from there. It gets a bit trickier if it's in a bar cafe and there's more than a couple of people using the reception desk. It makes it harder to tie up. So where do I find it from in a bar cafe? Well, I would go to the journal for the day, and I would take the totals for cash, declare them to there, and I would take the totals for credit cards. Now we look at this journal, and I don't have any movement for credit cards. I've got cash, fine, and then I've got prepay. So we haven't posted anything to credit cards, have we? The chances are we've checked them in and we posted it to prepay. But I've got £10 there, 707. Let's have a look to see if that was checked, if that was declared correctly. Don't see that. There we are. Well, that's right. There's £10 from the pod, and there's £10 from the journal. It's telling us we balance. Cool. But when I come to check in the journal for credit cards, I don't have anything. So on my cash rec for the day, that should be a 0. And now I've got a £100 variance, and it tells me straight away that something's wrong. So I need to go back and find out what that is before I finish my shift. Also, at the end of the day, when the manager comes to check the cash rack, we can see that we've got a £100 variance. And this is correctly declared now with the right figures. So when I look at the audit finance sheet, they both agree. We can see that we've made a misposting. The important thing to bear in mind is that the audit finance sheet and the cash rack use the same figures. So we should always have the same variance on both.